How about that? There we go. So if you could have read my lips, I would have been saying that I was working away trying to get this piece of wood ready, and I looked up and it was 12:55 and I hadn't turned on any electronics yet. And obviously, well, I missed one of the, I missed the receiver. Uh, because I got to say, I'm going to pat myself on the back. I turned all the electronics on in 5 minutes, or it was like 102 or 103 maybe when I actually got it turned on. So I'll say 10 minutes. So I was 10 minutes late, but that's pretty quick for getting all the stuff turned on. It's a crazy little project I've come up with today. It's bulk coring, and this is a raggedy piece of wood. First person to admit it. It's late. I had a choice: try and play with it with an experimental type of using the coring devices, or just take it to the dump and throw it away with the rest of the stuff out there that needs to throw away. So I decided I'd try something that I have thought about, and I'm sure other people have too. I don't think this is anything new to anybody. The main goal of today is to see if we can use the coring device on the outside. Instead of taking our normal tools as we do and work this thing into a shape, can we just go ahead and use the biggest blade and cut it into the semi-hemisphere shape right from the start with the bulk coring system. Don't know, haven't tried it before, don't know how it's going to go. Again, this is a raggedy piece of wood. It's got splits and checks and a variety of different things in it. It's nothing that you'd want to take home to your mother. But then again, once we get in there, well, if it works at all, if it doesn't crash and burn, we get the outside profile and we go to cut a true core. I've got some filler that it's not on the market and it's not going to be. They just told me over at Spiracraft last week. But it's a filler, it's a powdered filler, and you fill the crack and then you put your CA glue in, and it automatically has the activator in it. It sets right up. So we could fill some cracks, and we could fill them with epoxy too. But really the main goal is to see if we can bypass having to make this thing round with our bowl gouge and just use the coring system. And I'm going to set up the Max 4 here today. Now the first thing I had to do after I chainsawed it down to where it would fit on the lathe, when I mounted it on a faceplate to start with, it was pretty crooked, and so I was having to true up. Hey Dad, good to see you. I was having to true up this front face, which turned out to be more of a chore than I had anticipated, right, as things often are. And I'm only able to turn it around maybe 250, 275 right now. And I was trying to get it flat so we had somewhere to work from. And that's why I was running a little late getting everything up and ready. But it's good now. I've already kind of knocked it off the first faceplate set of screws, and so I went to 1.5 inches, so I was trying to keep them short. So it's been that kind of day, but I'm having fun. Of course, been making a mess out here with all the chips. But I think I am ready to go ahead and bring the Max 4 up here, change blade, put the biggest blade on it, and see if my idea is even going to work. Now, Joe, I don't know if you've tried this, and Michael, if either of you have ever tried to use your coring, your biggest blade to just true up the outside and carve away what you're cutting. Beforehand, just pop up and say so. Say, yes, I have, or no, I haven't, and I think it's a dumb idea. Just kind of curious. And, I don't know what will come from it. If it's better, worse, easier, harder, I just don't know. But it's something that I wanted to try for a long time. And today I'm going to try it. Like I say, this piece of wood was headed for the landfill. And I said, well, let's go ahead and mess with this and see what happens. So I'm bringing up the Max 4, the Woodcut Tools Max 4. And we'll get it set up. We have to change blades. Drop on down in there. There you go. We'll get things squared away here. And I need to, better you than me on this experiment. Michael, I am here to be people's experimenter. Okay. And it looks like I need to change a number of settings here. And I'm going to have to change the other two cameras once we get things in. I'm going to wait till I get things in place, and then I'll change the cameras, and I can do it from over here now. So I need to find the right size wrench. I'm not always 100% prepared, as you guys know. But I was working hard to get there. And I need to raise the stop collar here on the Max 4. And I have no idea what size that is. But what I'm going to do is bring it up manually here. And we're going to set that right at center. And let me fix that. Let me fix that end camera right now so you can see what I'm talking about. And I'm going to leave it on the overhead or the front view while I fix these cameras the way they are, where they're positioned. I'm happy having controls out here now. I'm getting used to it. It is going to trash a keyboard, but worse things have happened. That looks pretty well centered. And no, I'm going to be on the outside, so I better back it back out on the zoom a little bit. And let's see if we can move it the other way. Hope you don't mind me talking to myself. All right, and we'll let it focus. And we'll save that. And so now let me pop you here. So you can see where I'm getting ready to set this cutter to center or just slightly above. And while I'm here messing with this stuff, I'm going to go ahead and change the overhead camera settings. Because it's zoomed way in right now. So we'll buzz this out. It's a pretty big piece. I can't decide if we should be in tight and over here. Let's do that right there. Luckily I put on shoes today, so I can't get in trouble for having my flip-flops on, if you know what I mean. Oop, a little too far on the zoom. That should do the trick. Get it to focus on the right spot. There we go. Save that out. So the end looks pretty good. Let's see what the overhead looks like. That look reasonable to you guys? You can see the cutter right now just at the center, and then we'll be, of course, working out here. Oh, and I got some pop-up on the computer. Go away, pop-up. What in the world is that? So you can see where the cutter will be cutting here, and a lot of it you'll be watching from the overhead, or from the end camera, I believe. Safety police will be disappointed. Oh, that I put on the shoes. Yeah, let me see if you can see here. See, I put on real shoes, not my flip-flops that I normally wear in life. Okay, so that cutter is literally right at that center, and I just need to open up this stop collar, find the right key, Allen wrench. I know I don't know why, maybe I just didn't have it tight enough. It got slid up there. There's another one over here. That's where it's supposed to be. So Michael, I've been taking care of all the AAW stuff, getting the electricity paid for and the insurance paid for. Got you and Jeff your credentials. They asked for your email. Jeff said he hasn't gotten an email, and you might not get anything from him. Who knows? But you are all credentialed up and all that good stuff. Okay, you're on the overhead, so let's pop you to the end. And let's see, if I put the overlay of that, that's not in the way. Okay. Gotta go, just got a notification that Spiracraft is live. Hey, at least my notifications run as late as I do. So, you won't see this in either shot. I'm bringing the tailstock button up. I'll pop it into here for you. So the tailstock, it has a pin, M2 Morse taper that supports the back of the unit. And all. So what I'm going to go for, and I got to change blades. So does the overhead show the blades? Not super well. What I might do is zoom the overhead out so you can see the blade changing. It's got the middle blade on it right now, and I need to put the large blade on it. So let me change that real quick so you can watch the process. I don't know who keeps calling me. Probably Bridget. And we'll move this over just a little bit. That's better. That way you can see the blade changing process. Because I haven't done a lot of Max 4 out here. Okay, we'll have to change it back after a bit, or not. So there's a full overhead. All right, wrench, pardon the arm. We loosen up the handle. And like I said, my plan, and I know I've made these really tight, is to try and basically cut the there we go. Outside profile. I wasn't sure what I was going to do if that didn't pop loose. It's loose enough already. All right. Just that one that was, somebody over tightened one of them. I don't know who that somebody would have been. And this is the large blade, and it's got the compound curve in it. This extra piece that it's all curved to follow the profile of the arc of the inside of the bowl. And it sits right out here on the rest. Luckily I'm gonna turn that overlay off for a sec. There you go. Sits right up here on the rest. We slide it all the way in. We go about tightening up the bolts. Don't know why that one was so tight. I mean, you want them good and secure. Pardon my arm in the camera there. I know one day I'm going to get these too tight where I can't get them loose, and so what I need to remind myself to get a ratchet socket drive with this size Allen wrench on it. Okay. So And loosen this back up. And we're going to slide this. Loosen up. Come on, slide. Slide with me. You can do it. All the way out to the outer reaches. I'm thinking that what it might have, let me try something here. There we go. That's what it is. There's a little bind right there. I probably need to come up just a fuzz. So in the end camera now, I'm setting the blade out here. I'll overlay the overhead. I'm going to look for the closest point to the edge of what I cut with the chainsaw. Okay, so I can come a little more. Because we want to maximize. Have you ever seen poplar turn pink? This is a piece of poplar, and it's got pink in it. The first I've seen that. So right there is about 1/4 of an inch. That might be about the closest. Okay. Like I say, this is a new attempt at something here, so golly bee only knows how it'll go. But again, it's my curiosity that's got me as to whether this is easier than having to frail on a piece like this. If you don't have a 20-inch 5-horsepower bandsaw that you can do your blanks on, because it's a lot of work. Oh, I'm touching in the middle. You know, it's a lot of work to get that blank rounded, or can be if you don't have a big giant bandsaw. All right, so I'm as far out as I can go, and I'm as far in as I can go. And I have the light guide here. And I'm curious to see what it says, where it says we're going to go to. Pardon my arm there. I'll pop you up here real quick. So I'm putting the light guide on, putting the laser in it. Okay. And the laser shows that we're only going to go to here with this cut. Now I'm losing about an inch over here because I've got that sticking out. I could pop it off of there and turn that away or not worry about it. I think I'm going to stay shallow because I know the outside of this is pretty crusty, if you know what I mean. Hey, Jeff, good to see you. So I could gain, reach over here. The most I could gain would be another 3/4 of an inch in depth, okay? So for the moment, I think we're going to leave it at that. So that gives us approximately 5 inches of depth on this piece. So we could get 6 inches if I didn't have this little nub still sticking out here. All right? But we're not really worried about that whole concept so much today. And one of my plans, let me pop to here. One of my plans is as the blade cuts through, coming around, I want to cut off. I'll take a parting tool if I can figure it out, or not. I'd have to have two banjos on here. If I had two banjos on here, I would be styling, because I could then cut away what I was cutting through to get it out of the way. Now, with all the cracks in it, we may be able to just break it off, or it may break off as we're going. Hard to say. Okay, but let's go to, we can take this out, turn off the laser. Let's see how she does for speed right now. She's at two. She's not happy. She's not balanced. We would like 300. That's what we would like. 3 to 500. We're not going to get that. There's 200. I'll take what I can get, but I don't want the cameras to shake, because this thing shakes the building, which shakes the cameras. It's a little building. It's only 12 by 16. So I'm just kind of taking this up incrementally. And when I pop to the end camera, that's overhead. So it's shaking a little bit for you, but not horribly. Okay, so that's about 230. We'll start there and see how things go, what kind of reception we get. I'm going to put on my safety shield, double check that everything is tightened down. We are ready for activation. Now I'm just going to take this nice and easy. It looks like, let me back up here. It looks like you can't quite see in the overhead. So let me fix that real quick. You can't see where it's cutting. Let me move that back over. Wrong direction, Bradley. There we go. Pardon my cough. I'll be glad when I'm rid of the pollen world. So I'm just sitting here thinking as I'm cutting, there's two things I'm going to do. One of them I could have done before. I'm going to take the Max 4 off here in a little bit and make a tenon right here, so we've got some way to grab this guy to put a tenon on the other end. And while I'm doing that, I'll be able to go ahead and take a parting tool and cut some of this away so we can see what we got going on. So I'll go for a while here, and then we'll stop, take the Max 4 off. Luckily, it's really quick to change. And put a tenon on here, cut away this excess out here with a parting tool, and it'll just cut through there. And then put the Max 4 back on. And one thing you can do, you can move your tool rest slightly, loosen everything up, and give yourself a little bit of relief. It makes for a relief cut, if you will. Just give yourself a 1/16 of an inch or so, and it helps keep the cutter from binding. So after you've started, just make yourself a little relief, and it helps the chips come out better. Will that adapt to your tool rest? Yeah, whatever size tool post, depending, if you've got like the Max 4 comes, and they all come actually, Jeff, with a 1-inch tool post, but we have other size tool posts, 3/4, 7/8, 5/8 millimeters. So whatever the tool post diameter on your lathe is, we can match that. And it'll work. So that's all we need to do is change it, because it just goes into your tool rest. That's all you need, is the right tool post. Okay, and off we go here again. This wood is quite dry now, as far as sap and all that. It's been out in the rain, but it's been cut for years. And again, I'm going to mention that on this particular piece, for certain, because it has so much cracks, so many age cracks and drying cracks on the outside, even though I went relatively close here, I'm not worried about throwing this away, because I'm hoping to actually have a nice blank if these cracks don't go too deep, and then, or if they do show up in there, that we can still fix them, and so it's not really an issue. Now, breaking tool rest isn't any fun. You might need to get you a bowl coring system so you can get down in there. And resin, okay. So on this blade, I'm going to go to where the wing steps in, and then we're going to cut this off and change things around. I can tell you this, I already have come to this conclusion, that even if it's not faster, it sure is less violent on your body than rounding up a big hard dry piece of wood that you haven't cut round on a bandsaw. By cutting on the inside here, let the tool do that kind of work, because otherwise, you're out here with the bowl gouge getting it round and trying to get the right shape and all. So far, I'm kind of liking this idea. Yeah, it is a little slower, looks slower, but I'm taking my time too. Ran out of juice. All right. Good time to give it a break since it overloaded. Surprising. And we will take the Max 4 off of here. Come on off of there. I got her wound in there tight. Hang on just a sec. That should help the cause. There we go. So that just pops right off, just that easy. As you can see, I just, one hand, and all it is the tool post and the piece in the back. Cool beans. All right. Let's see if I hurt this machine or not. Because it gave a low voltage warning and shut down. I may have hurt my toy. Hope not. Do. Yeah, California. I wish I was in California some days. I was turning it at low speed with a lot of load on it. It's quite warm. And it may have a thermal overload in it. There's a reset here. I may have to unplug it first and see if that helps it reset. And I will check to make sure I didn't blow the fuse or burn out the fuse on it. Where's Rich when we need him? Yes, I think we took care of that fuse. I do believe. Now I know I have more. The question is, are they out here or are they in the office? They are in the office. All right, so gang, I'm going to leave you with a pretty shot of the end of this, and I'm going to run into my office and grab another fuse. I got a bag of these in the office. So I'm going to pop you to that pretty shot right there. If anybody comes in and asks where's the guy, tell him he ran to get a fuse. And it'll just take a minute. It's certainly a nice day in Georgia, but it is starting to get a little warm and dry. The grass is starting to look a little brown. We had had a lot of rain earlier. But I'm back now. Yeah, we're on intermission. Exactly. So when I got this, it had a lower amperage fuse in it than it was supposed to. So they're very hard to find, and I got a bunch of them. I think I bought like 20 of them. So hopefully that's all there is going on here. Like I said, it was starting to slow down. I'll ask the good folks about it. Fresh fuse. Hey, we have power again. That's what fuses are for. So we're just going to run it for a minute free and let it get a little fresh air in there. It's still pretty warm. Did Rich show up? Yeah, Rich. I overheated the girl. You must have heard your ears. You must have heard me talking. I said, "Where's Rich? Where's Rich when we need him?" Thanks for dropping in. If you want to know what happened, Rich, I'm coring here, and I was coring at about 250, somewhere around 250, and I got a low voltage warning, and it shut down, had a little puff, and it blew the fuse, and so I put a fresh fuse in, and we're back to running. So the main thing I was doing is I was loading it. I wasn't leaning on it super hard, but I was loading it at a lower speed. And I don't know if there's a setting that I should change in the menu for maximum load at a low speed. If there is, let me know. But it's back up and rolling here, so like I say, the fuse did its job, which is all good. And we're going to cut away some of this excess here, because I'm experimenting today, Rich, to see if it's easier and faster to just cut away all the chainsaw edges. Try setting it to hard. Maybe take off load spike detection. All right, let me take a quick look here. Do you know where I would find out? Would that be in lathe settings or profile? Let's punch profile and see what we get. Large unbalanced. Lathe settings, wireless remotes, motor parameters. Yeah, exactly. It's got a voltage control. VK prop equals 2000, VK tint equals 9000, VDDC bus equals 365. Probably says soft and hard, okay. Heat sink, threshold. All right, we're going to back out of there. Go to lathe settings. Because I haven't been through all these settings, mostly just the brake. Got the vibration sensors off. Nothing in there. I do have the brake on, but it wasn't engaged. Yeah, go take a look, and I'll keep looking through here real quick while you're running out and taking a look. Now, that's a timer for drying. It is a computer. That's kind of one of the things about it. It's a full-on computer in here. He's not in that menu. Doo, 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 doo. I'm trying to get into this profile. It says small diameter. I keep hitting the wrong. I have to remember which button to push. That's for the speed settings. So we're not going to mess with that. Large unbalanced, small diameter, normal. We'll go with large unbalanced. And Because I know that setting starts it up slower when it's on the large unbalanced. It doesn't spin up or spool up as quickly. So let me see if I can try my theory here of cutting some of this away. It could be a crazy theory. I'm going to put you in the overhead. Menu profile extra large unbalanced. That's what they changed it to. Okay, that's what I just did here as well. I changed it to extra large unbalanced. All right, we'll see what happens. We're going to cut this away a little bit at a time. And I'm going to put you in the overhead like I said. There. And I'll give you a 5 for that. Sorry, I had to have a sip of cold water there. All right. This will be interesting. Gotta love a good shake, don't you? Don't break on live stream. Be another way you could make, if you cleaned up the outside, you could make donuts. You could make rings, big old wooden rings. I'm going to hit this on the grinder real quick. That's just about to come off. Sure sounds like it. Either that or my tool rest moved. Must be the tool rest moved. All right, we'll keep going. Who knows what we'll figure out fun things we can do by doing this. Let's see if that's ready to pop yet. Boy, it's close. Trying to see if I could pop it loose without it flying. There we go. There's one part of it. Thanks to the cracks in it. The cool thing is, there's a little bit of cracks down inside, but not nearly like we have on the outside, other than the big ones. Alright, so now we do want to go ahead and get a tenon on the front nose of this guy. Just something so that we can hold on to it. I'm having a ball today, even with the little stalling issue. I'm still having fun. I like doing new things and different things and seeing, you know, just how it works for me or not. All right. So just about what I got going on there. We'll just grab a square carbide cutter, make a poke at this guy. Just a little bit outside of that ring right there. It looks just about right. Maybe a fuzz bigger. Move this in a little closer. Okay, grab a smaller bowl gouge. Wish we could get some more speed here. We're going to try the... Watch my toes, that chuck vibrates off. Yeah, I'm going to hang on to it while I try and see if we can get some more speed without shaking the building to death. Is that making you dizzy? Bottom of this cleaned up. Nice little spiral on that last little cut there, wasn't it? Oh, and see, that's right. That's right where my knot is. That's the other thing that's making it try to be difficult. Okay. I do love this brake. It's a hard habit not to reach out. But there's that knot right there. It'll be in that little teeny bowl. Now this tenon is nothing to write home about. It's got a little crack that runs through it. But we'll make sure that it's flat here and dovetailed. Okay. Give me a pointy tool, any pointy tool. Okay, that takes care of that. And I should flatten that up just a little bit more again. Nope, too long a tool. Don't know where I put the other one. Where'd I put it? There it is. Okay, so now we've got a way to hold on to this guy. And we will continue our journey. Pop you back up here so I can say hey. We'll continue our journey back in here, cutting this out. Pop that core out. Yeah, it was a good thing that I moved the chuck away. I might have shaken it off onto my foot. Yeah. Get things back where they were before. More or less. Let's get that in place. There we go. Lock that down to the tailstock. Run the tailstock up to keep her snug. Everything else seems to be, we're in a perfect flat line here. Let me put you in the overhead. So the plate is perfectly flat here that the cutters are on. I'm right up against the tenon here. The plate is right up against the tenon. Just touches for a second there. Okay. So we're turning 390 now with the coring tool. If that's shaking too much for you guys, I can slow it down. Let me take her back down here. She winds down through 300, kind of like re-entry. So we're about 250. Changing the overhead. There we go. Clean the chips out. Give you the overhead. You should have the overhead in the inset now. You got it. Forgot about the 20-second time delay, Michael. 20 seconds from when I do it and you see it. But I think the chat column is instant. Now, again, there's something else here I can do that I haven't done in a while on this. I haven't sharpened this cutter. And all you have to do is take your diamond card. I don't know, just how sharp or dull it is. You just stroke right across the, get my hand out of the way. It's got a little negative rake bevel on the top. And then you just, I can't move that because you can hit the sides. If you have a card, one of the real thin cards, it's easier. And they say, woodcut, that sometimes you will have to, not that this poplar is really hard, but you may have to sharpen a couple times along the way on a hard piece of wood. And like I say, I don't know, I know I didn't sharpen it before I started today. Yeah, from when you type it till I do it. So just that little bit with the diamond card did make a difference in how it feels as cutting. Again, if this wood was green, it would be curls coming out, but it's not. It's dry, dry, dry. And where you start to get into trouble, or not so much trouble, but it gets a little grabbier as the knife comes around to the end grain. The end grain starts cutting across the center. It's a little bit harder. Now, one thing I can say, I'm going to take fresh air here for a second. From experience, and pop up here, I'm going to leave that run. One thing I can say from experience is that if I had gone ahead and made this all true with the bowl gouge and been able to turn a higher speed, like an easy 3 to 500, then the coring would go faster. So this test today, this method, hey Bob from Ohio, thanks for dropping in. We're having a ball out here. This method makes me because it's so out of balance, because it's not round. Now, had I cut it on a bandsaw round, it would be better. But so it's out of balance. I can't turn. I'm turning 250, 260, it looks like right here. So anything more than that, you know, it shakes pretty good. It shakes the cameras anyway. So had I done the rounding with the bowl gouge, then I would be able to do a higher speed. So this is kind of today's this test to see, you know, how much work is it to do it this way as opposed to doing it by hand. This is certainly easier on the body of not getting beat up with the bowl gouge. You're pleased that the complications don't upset me? It is the upbringing, Dad. Not much bothers me. I just let it roll. I roll with it. 12 years on the road with the woodworking shows in front of 30,000 people helps. Make it to where you could just pretty much deal with whatever happens. But the upbringing taught me how to do that. All right, so let's go back in here and keep on charging. Go back to the end view. Yeah, practice helps, Dad. Or Billy, or I mean Mike. Clean her back out. Now it's interesting, you know, you see my hand sitting on here on the blade, and Mike Mahoney says that the one of the important things, you know, it's a little, you might not be comfortable with it at first, but keeping your hand out here on the blade, holding down on it when you're, especially when you're inside there, is important. And there we go. Yay! So I'll leave you on the end camera as I back this all up. And if I put you in overhead, I'll just hold it up front here. So it's a nice, you know, hemisphere, perfect hemisphere essentially, although not exactly. What the beauty is, other than this one big crack that's right here, and the one small one where the pith is, the rest of this is pretty clean. Pretty clean. That's pretty cool. So, I mean, I took my time. This is what I would have turned away. This amount of wood is what would have been turned away with a bowl gouge and all the work of getting beat. So, and in reality, what I have left here, so I see if I find my big, if these will reach. These aren't deep enough, but it's close. There's maybe 2 inches at the bottom. I've got 1.5-inch screws in here, and the big checks on the outside. So I really didn't waste that much, because this would have all been turned away. I'll show you the inside here. Oh, that's overhead. And you can see the nubbin right there, just in the center. Just right there. That's what snapped. That was all that was left. So now let's get this guy off of here. What kind of time we got? 2:20. Okay, we got time to play around. This piece still gets to go to the dump, because there's not really much left of it that you would want. No, there's the inside. And our bowl blanket should be about 15, 16 inches. Let's see here. I've got it back behind me. 14, excuse me. So there's the chunk of waste wood, along with my faceplate, which I think I'll take off of there before I throw it away. So it may take a little longer, but it's a lot less abuse on your body if you do it that way. It would be interesting to run this through a bandsaw and see just how thick it really is. I don't have big enough calipers to reach that far across. But we can do the old school. We can put something across the top and measure and do the math. That we didn't, how much we did or didn't waste. I'm just kind of curious. Let's see here. So this blank is over here. This blank is 5 1/4 thick. And that's the longest thing I got. 20-inch handle. This will be close enough. Something to kind of measure this. We've got 3.5 inside. So just about what we said, about 2 and change on the outside. So we didn't really give away any wood to speak of between the screw holes and the checks in it. Okay. And like I say, it may or may not have been faster, but it was certainly easier on the body to not have to turn that by hand. Cool beans. Now, since we've got a half an hour, let's make another one. So we're going to chuck this up, turn the tenon on the bottom, spin it back around. And we'll core out one more. And then we'll be out of time. Supernova 2. Chuck. So, Rich, I was asking Craig this morning if there was a chance that I could get hold of the, is it the Neutron? The new 15-inch benchtop in time for SWAT. And he said I needed to talk to somebody else at AEW. And of course, you won't be there. Neptune. Yeah, I'm trying to get, I'd like to get my hands on a Neptune because I'm going to SWAT, and then I'm going to Rocky Mountain Wood Turning Symposium, then I'm going over to Mid-Atlantic Turning Symposium, all in end of August and the first few weeks of September. And if there's one around, it would be great to take it and show it, if I can get a hold of one. It looks like a cool machine. All right, I'm going to pop this out of here for a minute. That's the beauty of these woodcut bowl coring systems. Once you've got your collar stop set, that's it. It all comes out and it all goes back on. Well, I'll take a beta out there on the road. Got no problem with that. All right, so here's a pretty end of the bowl. We'll put a tenon on here. And I mean, this is a really smooth cut. Even the end grain's just a little fuzzy, you know, and then just that little nub there. So we'll flatten this off, make a tenon. Yeah, Tom was the name. Tom. He's bringing the prototype to AEW. Cool. The fact that it's 15-inch direct drive, I think that's going to do well. Could be a good machine. Horse and a half. That's really good. Y'all can ask my dad there. I have turned a lot of poplar. When I was doing the art and craft shows, I used poplar for my colored pieces. Readily available in North Georgia. Easy to turn. Colors well. Outside flats would make an interesting piece as well. You mean the piece that I took off, Dad? Okay, all we need is a dovetail on there. I got too many tools on the tool rack, so I either have too many tools or I need a bigger tool rack. One of the two. All right, so now we'll put this in the chuck and we're done with the faceplate. We don't have the worry. Keep going, do that. We don't have the worry of the screws coming loose and all that stuff. The only worry you have is snapping your tenon. Again, this is a less than stellar piece of wood because I didn't know how this was going to go. I started to go over and cut a fresh piece of pecan off the logs out there in the yard, and I said, no, this is something that could go south on me really bad. So I think I'll just use something that I was going to throw away. Jeff Peters, how you doing, buddy? We've been having a ball here. Haven't broken anything much. Burn a fuse. Other than that, we've been pretty good. How many blades do I? You know what we could do? Just because. I haven't shown this today, so we were using the Max 4 before. This is the standard bowl saver. I think I'll switch gears. And I've got the large blade on the standard. And with this, what we're going to do is slide it off center. So if I show you in the end camera, instead of having this centered and cutting a bowl that's that thick, if we slide this off center like that, maybe not quite that far, and when we start cutting, it's going to cut at a different arc. All right? Now, there's a law of diminishing returns where it starts to cut back uphill. But other than that, that's how you can change the profile of the way the bowl shape is. It won't be a perfect hemisphere. So again, as you can see, we're 1.5 inches off center or so. And I can take my little laser doobie. Where'd I put the light? The light disappeared in the chips. I'll walk around here so I can find it. There it is. So I'll show you in the overhead. If you can see, I don't know if you probably can't quite see it because the thing's in the way. So the light is shining. Actually, do I have a 2-1? Both of these are 3-holers. The closest one, I don't have a standard one. Both of these are Max 4s out here, but it's just a little bit outside the cutter, and then you'll see it come around. Again, you can't see it because the thing gets in the way, but the light is right there. Okay, it's going to be a little bit more shallow than that, but that's how this works. It just shows you right where your sweep is. Where your cut's going to go to. So it's going to leave us about 1.5 inches in the bottom of this outer bowl. And I'm going to move it over a little bit, just so that outer bowl has enough wall to it. here. So I had it way out here, so I moved it over just a little bit. And you can see it hit my fingernail, because this is the one for the bigger one. But you can see it on the face of the wood there. Doesn't show up real well in the cameras, but it shows you the arc going over. Okay? Yeah, the rainbow poplars up there, Dad, are pretty cool. If you remember the first hollowing pieces I did, my dad took me to a club that he was in North Georgia, and I had just started turning. I was in Georgia from Colorado, and they had these big, some guy brought these big 36-inch rounds of poplar to the club meeting, and nobody wanted them, right? And me being new, and it worked out great. Me being new, I said, well, I'll take them, because they had a raffle for wood. I said, I'll take those, you know. And there was two of them, like 36 inches, and that's what I made my first dozen holoforms out of. And they were rainbow poplar, beautiful rainbow poplar, and some of them I sold. I made a lot of money out of those two free logs. I was selling pieces at a gallery for $500, $600 down in Atlanta out of that log. So I was really pleased. Now all I need is a handle for this, and that would be here. And my Allen wrenches to tighten it up. And we'll bust one out with the standard bowl saver. This one goes up to 14 inches. And I need the other one that's over in the other shop. I'm sure I have one laying around somewhere that's perfectly correct here, but that's not it. Let me look in my drawer real quick here. Don't mind me. Into the lost land of Allen wrenches. See if I happen to have something laying here that's right. I got a million of them, and they don't make. I wish manufacturers would make them on a unit all the same size, so you didn't have to hunt for different ones or try and keep track of them, because I never can, especially in my organizational format. Well, hang on just a second. I wasn't planning on doing this, otherwise I would have been, of course, perfectly prepared, as you know. It just wouldn't be the same if I wasn't looking for a tool, right? The way I roll. Hey, I found it. Believe that? Yes, I know I should mark it, but I won't. Okay, so we got everything snugged down here. We're going 585. We're going to slow that down to about 500. Okay. And I'll pop you now to, let's see, 5 for the main shot. Overhead's still good. Time we got 2. Can't read that. 229. 2:39. Let's see if we can knock this thing out before 3 o'clock, because it's time for lunch. Getting hungry. So you can see I'm getting a much better shaving off of this cutter. It's in much better shape than the one on the Max 4. I know the Max 4 I had been doing the the pecan with. Yeah, he should have got it today. Easywood was literally a week later than when they said they would get all the stuff to me that happened to be back ordered, and so some of the stuff was kind of late. Feel bad about that. So I'm going to move this out just a fuzz and make that relief cut. So I loosen up my nut back here, and I slide the banjo out just ever so slightly, about 1/16 of an inch. Those chips out of the way. Where's my air hose? Keep it clear where you can see. And the other thing is we're cutting almost 300 RPM faster than we were on the first cut. Clean it out, clean off the chips. So now it's slowing down. It's getting into that end grain coming through the center, where it slows down a little bit, gets a little bit harder to cut. Let's see if that inside one will pop loose or not. Not quite yet. It's getting close. There we go. It's nicer to pop them than it is to have them fly out. Slide. Ow, that's hot. And out comes number 2. Snap that just last little bit. And so other than the one split here, you could make a decorative, you can fill that. This is another nice bowl. So that's, 12 on the inside, 13 3/4 on the outside right now. Now that one was a whole lot faster, right? Compared to the first one. And that's the way, once you've got where you can turn it at a reasonable speed. We were turning at 505, probably just under 500 with a load on it. And that just took a few minutes to get that guy out of there. And that's the beauty of a coring system, is that would have been all chips. And there's a whole nother bowl in there. $247, 10 to 3. So, nice bowl, nice reasonable shape. Got the tenon on it. It'll warp some because it's still, even though it's dry from years, it's been out in the rain. That's our main bowl. And because we've got that tenon already on there, we just pop it back in the chuck. Make another quick tenon. And bust out one more bowl before 3 o'clock. Again, the beauty here, to do that, all we do is loosen that up, take it out of the unit, out of the tool post, out of the banjo, excuse me. Drop the tool post in. You switch gears. Bada bing, bada boom. Throw those tools down on the ground. This has got a hog nose on it, but we'll use it. Sorry about my reach. Right there, approximately. That should do the trick. So before I use the square carbide tool, this time it's a bowl gouge. However you want to make your tenon is all fine with me. Both ways work. It's all good. Faster not to change tools. Make sure that's slightly concave. Put your dovetail on it. So by not changing any tools, it makes that a lot faster. And I've got a 1/4 inch that I usually use somewhere over there that I've got ground just for making these. I can get right in the corner with it. I didn't happen to grab it, but I'll show it to you here now. Actually, it's Carter & Son, so they call it a 3/8. But I can get right in there. I usually keep a really teeny point on them. And get right down on that bottom there. And make sure that's flat. Okay. Yeah, the slicer tool. My dad gave me another version of one. It was made here in the States, and that's what my first hollowing tool was. Arm brace hollowing tool. That's how I learned to hollow on that big piece of poplar that I was talking about a minute ago. And once you get comfortable with that, you're not afraid of anything. I make sure chuck is plenty tight because there is a lot of resistance, a lot of force on the coring system. And so you want to make sure you're where you want to be. So we'll pop that tool rest back out of there. I'll show you just how quick and easy, and that's the other wrench I was looking for. Tools on the floor. And that's it. You're in. You're ready to roll. And this one I can core another one without changing blades if I don't want to. And so what we'll do is we'll go right to center, or just about. Now what we may have to do is move this out. So we'll put our light guide up here and check out where we're going to end up. And it shows about a quarter long, because this is actually for the max 3 or 4. So I'm going to back up here, looking at the light. So it would be a little shallower. If I stayed all the way in here, let me show you in the overhead. If I had this all the way up flush, I would come out the bottom. I know you can't see it, but you can see that this is shining on the chuck here. Okay, if we stayed flush. So we back up, and we know that this is a little long for this, but we want to leave at least, a 1/2, 3/4 in the bottom of this guy. Okay. And we can slide it over a little bit. And that'll go in there. So that'll leave about a 1/2 inch thick wall, give or take. And we can move it, we're almost to center, we can move it over a little teeny bit. Square everything up. Check our profile. That looks good. Get up in there. Lock that down. Move this over. If you were doing them all day long, you'd have it down to where you were just cranking them right out. Everything's tight. We're good to go. His shield down, number 5. So what happened right there, you saw me go back in and push and it wouldn't cut. The chips themselves, they get on the up against the cut edge. And then as soon as they cleared, you could hear it start jump and start cutting. There was a knot there. That's why that one wasn't wanting to cut. Check this out. The knot was right there. I'll pop it into overhead. That thing is hard as a rock, but loose at the same time. You can't even see, that's that same limb right there. But you can fill that. You can do your great fill stuff. And bada boom, we got 3 bowls out of a log, a piece of wood that I was going to throw away. Yeah, fill it with easy inlay. Absolutely. Let go. Let go. Don't make me have to beat on you. And that's it. I would call that a successful project today. No soup for that one. Yeah, that was a little holy right there. But once we fill that with, that one actually is big enough to fill with epoxy. Dig out, it's got a lot of dirt in it. I mean, it's really dirty down in there where my ice pick is at the moment. It's hiding here and all the stuff. Pop you into overhead. Lots of dirt down in there. And it'll come right out over here eventually. But nonetheless, it can still be a perfectly good bowl. It's still got a tenon on here so you can clean it up and do whatever you need to with it. This guy here, we could fill the cracks. It's really got the one big crack there. Clean up the end grain and another nice bowl. So out of that piece of wood that I was going to throw away today, we cut 3. Could cut another one if you wanted to, but it'd be pretty small. So I'd say that was a successful score for that piece that was all nasty on the outside. So by coring it away to start with, it was easier on me. I didn't get beat up by all the chipping pieces coming off. Now, it took a little while, but I don't know if it would have taken me any longer to do it by hand or not, but it was certainly easier on me. And we actually salvaged that bowl. So the bad thing is I got another one just like it sitting outside the door. Now I have to decide, do I want to throw it away or do I want to go ahead and make 3 more bowls? You know, thanks, Dad. I appreciate that. So like I say, these are dry. They're years old, but they're wet from the rain. So I will throw them in a bag and just let them dry and have some bowls for God knows whatever. I need another bowl around here. So that's it. It's 3:01. It's time to wrap it up. And I appreciate everybody hanging out today. Had a good time. Made bowls. Didn't crash anything. Blew a fuse. Hey, that's just a setting in the computer here on the lathe. Great day. Be looking forward to next week. Don't know what I'm doing. I didn't know I was doing this until this morning about 8 o'clock. Or whenever I sent out the post, I decided what I was going to finally do. And it all came together well. So yeah, once again, I appreciate everybody coming out and hanging out. Spread the word to your friends about go to Spiracraft on YouTube and check out the videos that we do out here. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Alrighty? And it's time to cue the music. Cue the music. Number 6. No, that's the preview though. I am not surprised. There we go. See you guys.